Welcome back to Old War Stories from Uncle Jay. This one is entitled Breaking My Arm in the 5th Grade. Okay, we got a doozy here. Alright, I was in the 5th grade. Did not like the teacher. Mean, would yell. The work was exceedingly hard. There's all kinds of stories from her. But anyway, whatever the deal was, it's lunchtime. It was September, I think, of 1988. We'll say 1988, I think. Yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah, should be. Anyways, September 1998, it was still nice enough out that we could go out during lunch, so we'd eat and then they'd take us out for recess or whatever you want to call it. This was elementary school, of course, because 5th grade, and we had a jungle gym outside. And there was a slide, there were swings, there was this, there was that. But they also had the monkey bars. Now, I don't remember the name of this stuff, but it was like made out of this. It was a kit that was sold, and a lot of places had these. They used to have an old jungle gym there, and the one thing they actually spent money on, they changed it all out and made this whole new jungle gym and like closed it down for weeks while they erected this thing. And it was just this whole fucking mess. And the new stuff I didn't like as much as the old. Maybe the old stuff was all rusty and that, but that brought some of the charm along with it. Anyways, it didn't have as nice of the amenities as the old stuff. Anyway, this was made out of like these pressure-treated lumber pieces and then had boards that would go across, and everything would bolt together with like carriage bolts. It was well-built stuff. They've since changed that to this plastic bullshit they make today. Because probably the wood rotted out after all the years. But it were these round posts that would go in, and they have these plastic caps, and they fit in there pretty tight, but if you really tried, you could pry them out. I did that, other kids didn't. But anyway, they had the monkey bars. So pretty much what this was there was two boards that went across, and you would step up from because there was sand underneath. You'd step up on that, and then you'd grab, and they would go in an upwards fashion. There were 5 bars, and then it was an opening twice the distance of the bars, I guess for extra danger. I don't know. So you would grab the first one, then the second one, the third one, the fourth one, the fifth one, and then if you really could swing and reach, you'd grab the 5th one, the 4th one, 3rd one, 2nd one first, and come down on the platform on the other side. So here we were, and I'm watching, the little line would form, 2-3 kids at a time, and they'd go on, do the monkey bars thing, and jump off and do their thing. Okay. And I saw a kid decide to skip the first bar and jump for the second one. And he missed and he fell. And he got back up and he got back online and he tried it again. And he got it. And then I saw him do it like 2-3 more times. So I'm like, well, I can do that too. Bad move. I jumped for the second bar and I missed. And I fell down into the sand. And my left arm fell behind me somehow. It just did. So I said, oh, fuck, I missed. All right. So get up, brush the sand off yourself, and you go back online, because what are you going to do as a 5th grade kid? You're going to get back online, you're going to try it again. And that's exactly what I did. So I jumped for it the second time. Fell exactly the same way, on the same arm. I got up, brushed myself off, and my arm hurt a little bit, but I was like, I just fell on it. It's, it's fine. It'll go away. It's not, I wasn't even worried about it. I tried maybe a third time, fell on it again, and it hurt a little more. And I was like, whatever, it'll go away. And then I was like, all right, I have to be able to do this. So I think I did it like just starting with the first bar a couple times, and I made it all the way across. And I was fine. And then I said, I'm gonna do it. I know I can do this. And I jumped for that second bar again, and I fell again on my left arm. And it hurt like it's been hurting. No big deal. I get up, I go to brush the sand off of me, and I go and take like a step or two away. And you know how your arms like swing when you walk? Corner of my eye said, something didn't look right over on your left side. This arm wasn't straight. This arm went fucking Gumby. That's what happened. It broke. I broke it like here. Not the wrist, but like just back from it, somewhere about here. This arm looked so wrong. There was no bones sticking out or anything like that. It hurt, but it didn't hurt until I looked at it. Then I was shocked, so I screamed. Then it hurt really, really bad. Really bad. They had these, what they call aides, which are basically the bitches that watch the lunchroom and make sure kids don't beat the shit out of other kids. So we called them aides, and of course the running joke was the aides have AIDS. Ha ha ha. Okay. Nothing bad on anybody who actually does have AIDS. It was just a joke when we were in middle school. So if you're Karen and you have AIDS, I'm not trying to offend you, bitch, okay? Anyways, have to put these disclaimers in, because if not Karen, then Susan. We got her also. So anyway, my arm was fucking broken, and I screamed, and it hurt. The aide ran over. A bunch of kids ran over, so now you got, like, nowadays, kids would be taking out their fucking cell phones and taking video and pictures of this shit. We didn't have these in those days. Fuck you, millennials and Gen Zers. I had an up for not having the shit available. That shit didn't exist then. Alright, no big deal. So anyway, okay, so the aide's like, oh fuck, we got a big problem here. So she kind of puts her arm around me and walks me slowly to the nurse's office. She brings me through the door, and Nurse Kelly was the nurse there. Whatever she was doing, whatever was in her hands, just dropped. She just dropped everything. Ran and got the wheelchair. I didn't break a leg, I broke an arm. Went and got the wheelchair and sat me down in it. Then she went in her little cabinet, and she made like a splint of some kind. I don't know what she had really. It wasn't much, because the nurse's office was not really designed for this kind of stuff. She had this thing, this round thing, that went around my arm, and it had a tube, and she inflated it, I remember. And I got to keep that, and it's at my parents' house somewhere. I'm sure the vinyl in it is completely dried out, and the thing is crumbled to bits. They may have thrown it out, because this was 30-something years ago, but chances are it's like in the back, you know, under the sink there, and forgotten about. So it'll probably surface one day. I don't know. But anyway, she had this thing, and I remember that. And she said, oh shit. Yeah, well, she didn't say oh shit, but she wrapped my arm in like gauze first or something, and then put that splint thing on it. And she may have had a sling that went over around my neck kind of thing like that. I don't really remember. She went to her desk and picked up the phone and called my house. Now, at the time, of all times, for this to ever happen, my mother had a job. And she was working. Wow. This was really something for her. So she was out of the house. It was Friday. It was after 11 a.m. And my grandmother would come in every Friday to take care of my sister and I over the weekend. So she was there. She had keys to the house, and she'd let herself in, and she'd watch TV or whatever, wait for my mother to get home, and then whatever would happen for the evening is a story for another time. But she called the house, and my grandmother picked up. And she said, Jason hurt his arm, and we need you to come and pick him up. So she's like, okay, I don't have a car, I don't drive. She used to take the train in from Brooklyn and walk from the train station to my parents' house. My dad worked evenings, and he was home. And she had to go, because he would like sleep during the day, because, you know, working evenings and that, so he was asleep. She had to go in and actually wake him up. And she got him on the phone, and what's the matter? What's the matter? Just get here. Something big happened to old Uncle Jay. So my dad drove down, and that's, of course, when he found out I broke my arm, and they took me in the wheelchair, called my mother. She arrived somewhere at some point. I think at the hospital eventually. Anyways, didn't call an ambulance or anything like that. My dad's like, I'll take him to the hospital. And we got in his, I think it was 77 Dodge Aspen. 77, 78, I can't remember for some reason. We got in his Dodge Aspen. That car, man. I remember everything about that car, but that's another story. Sat me down in the back seat, and I said, I need a seatbelt. So Kelly reached in and got the seatbelt, and we only had lap belts in those cars because they didn't have shoulder belts in the back in the late 70s. That was like a later 80s thing. Not all cars even had them then. Anyway, strapped me in, brought me to the hospital, to the emergency room, and they took x-rays, and they said, sure, we can set the bone and whatever. Anyway, somehow my mother rushed to the hospital from where she was, and she was quite a ways out on the island. So that was surprising, but she got there, and she said, oh, no, 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 we're not getting any of this done at the hospital. We're going to Dr. Rubin. Some sort of orthopedist or orthobonist or whatever the fuck. I don't know. But anyway, we're going there. Now, Grandma's kind of still at home, left out of the loop here. They took some x-rays at the hospital. And they said, yep, this shit's broken. They gave us the x-rays. And then I was driven over to this Dr. Rubin. Don't remember anything about it much. I was driven over there, and Dr. Rubin was Jewish. Why else would you go there? Instead of letting your son, they'll fix his arm in the hospital, they'll put a cast, he'll be good. No, let's go to the Jewish doctor. Fuck's sake. My arm is fucking broken. And they're driving me all over creation to get the best price. That's what it felt like to me. Now, maybe Dr. Rubin was better than the hospital. I don't know. But whatever the deal was, get his arm fucking fixed and in a goddamn cast. For shit's sake. Okay. Anyways, we go to Dr. Rubin. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. I forgot. Back in Nurse Kelly's office while waiting for my dad to arrive. This is important. Kids would come in. Nurse Kelly, I have a headache. She had this like little cube freezer. Grab an ice pack, go back to class, I got an emergency. Grab an ice pack, go back to class, I have an emergency. There were like 4 kids that would come in, and they didn't know this happened to me, and they would see me there, and they're like, what the fuck? Get an ice pack and get out of here. And she was kicking people out. Another thing she said to me was, I know it hurts, I can't say it doesn't. I know it hurts, I can't say it doesn't. I know it hurts, I can't say it doesn't. She said that so many times. Yeah, it fucking hurt. And for some reason, I decided it would be a good idea to see if I could move my fingers. That was a bad idea. She didn't tell me, don't try to move your fingers, because if she did, I'd say, considering the circumstances, that's probably a good idea. So I tried to move my fingers. Everything just tensed the fuck up, and the pain got so much worse. I think I, like, damaged myself by doing that. But as a kid in the 5th grade, you're resilient, so it's fine. Just like falling off the bars and hurting my arm. So here we are at Dr. Rubin. My mother is on the phone in the doctor's office, talking to my grandmother, filling her in on what's going on. They give the x-rays from the hospital to Dr. Rubin. He looks at them. He says, these aren't worth a damn. He said that right in front of me. These aren't worth a damn. We need new x-rays. This does not show anything. Do you see here? This does not show anything. I have the x-ray machine. So it brought me into another room, took some more fucking x-rays, developed those, or however the fuck that goes, and put the thing in. We still had the old school. This wasn't computerized in these days, okay? So the thing, blinkety-blink, lights up or whatever. And there's my arm, broken. Well, ze brochen die arm. You think? You think? Okay. Now he brings me in another room. So he says, my mother was there at the moment, and he says, what I can do is I can inject the pain medication in the arm, and then I can set the bone, and we'll put the cast. But if it were me, if this were my son, I'd give him one good Zetz and just be done. I said, give me the pain medication! You're out of your fucking mind! I didn't say that because I was too young to say that, but I was like, give me the stuff. So he gets out this fucking needle. It's goddamn this long. Shoots the stuff. My arm turned yellow when he injected this shit. I don't know if this was chicken soup or whatever the fuck he injected in my arm, but the shit turned yellow. Oh. Now my mother's out in the hall, and she's on the phone, on the doctor's phone, on his dime, talking to my grandmother, filling him in. And I remember he just had 2 hands on my arm, and he sort of just feels everything, and just... I let out a death scream. That was the most excruciating pain I've ever felt, I think, to this day. That was absolute insanity. I couldn't believe that I could endure that. My mother said that was blood-curdling. And when you think about, like, if you put red food coloring in cottage cheese, that's what curdled blood looks like. That's what I always thought it looked like. My grandmother heard me scream over the phone. I don't remember much, except they put me in a cast, and I was out of it. I had had enough fun for the day. I was tired. They put a cast on me, and I'm like, I can't believe this. I can't believe I have to have a fucking cast. The reason I say this is because over kindergarten and the 5 years, other kids had broken stuff. They had broken an arm. You'd see a kid come in, you probably remember in school somebody had a cast. Ooh, let me sign your cast. Guess what? I told everyone no. What do you mean no? I said, I don't want to walk around with fucking graffiti on my arm for fucking weeks. What are you, out of your mind? No. And there was this one kid, Steve, I think I let him, I had two casts. The first one was put my arm like bent like this and came up to like here or something, and it kept my arm bent like that. And it was the traditional plaster of Paris kind of cast thing, or whatever they used. I don't remember. And I remember the elbow was not formed well. Like, it had a little bump on it. But I think Steve, I let him write his name really small at the top where my shirt would cover it. And he wrote his name in pencil, and that's all I allowed. And that was it. So, yeah, that was the deal. So now I had to wear a cast for like 6 weeks. And I don't remember exactly the time frames, like if I had that for like 4 weeks and then another cast for 2. There were 2 casts. The first one was the big one, like I said. And it also had a thing that would go around my hand, around my thumb like that. So you have your fingers and your thumb, but everything else was held like that. So I remember that, and now things get weird, because I was always the nerdy type, so I would twist wires together in my room and make light bulbs turn on and shit. Like, I wasn't playing with 120 volts or zapping myself. It was old DC low voltage stuff. But I rig up motors and fans and lights and little things and play with all kinds of dick around with things. And I'm trying to strip wires with the hand and a cast, and it's just trying to fucking, it was tough. But I carried on and I did my thing. And one time I actually broke the thing that goes around here and had to go back there for him to repair it. So I remember that sometime. And then, of course, you can't get it wet, because then you can't get it wet. So, so then, you know, you had to like put it in a bag. And I didn't even do that. My mother had to fondle my fudgies and give me sponge baths for like weeks and whatever. Anyways, 4 weeks go by, and I may be fucking this all up, but I sort of seem to remember this being this way. Just something. All right. I go back, he takes more x-rays, and he says, okay, everything's looking good here, so we're going to take this cast off, and then we're going to put a new one on. But he was not going to put the new one on right away, like it was a Friday, and I would come back on a Monday or something. Don't remember. But I got the cast off, and I had to be really careful with my arm. And 2 things had happened. The first was, my arms were different sizes. This arm was how it was, and this one looked like Shad, if you remember him, with the fucking little, it had shrunken, it was smaller because it was not being used. And it was skinny, and it looked dead. The hand worked, the arm worked, everything was good, but it looked bad. But now I got to take a real shower. Oh, thank fuck. Get home. I go in. I take a shower. And skin is fucking coming off of this arm. Skin. Oh my God. And it was a bathtub with the shower. And when I was done, there was like a ring of skin around the tub that I had to clean out of there. Oh, that was vile. That was fucking vile. Anyway, I went back. And, oh, I forgot another thing. When he went to take the cast off, how do they take the cast off? Well, He gets out a fucking angle grinder, this guy, and he fucking... Obviously, it's a doctor's tool, and it's not as big as an angle grinder, more like a Dremel kind of thing with a bigger blade. But do you know that motherfucker went too deep and actually sliced my arm? Just nicked it. Just barely, but there was a red mark. He's only supposed to cut the plaster. Below that was like cotton or some gauze or some shit like that. And that gets snipped off with scissors. That sort of acts as a buffer, but he went too deep and he fucking cut my arm. I don't know, I can't see a scar anymore. I don't remember where it was. It was so light that it was really nothing. But I remember that. So now I have to get another cast, and this went like 3/4 of the arm or something and wrapped around the hand and the whole thing again like that. And this one was blue. It was made out of a different material. And that I only had to have for like 2 weeks or something like that, and I got it off, and that was that. So a couple other little things with this. One was my mother had called the family and told them. So my aunt sent me a get well card along with a little plush monkey. And she put a little sign on him. Or no, she wrote it in the card. And she wrapped his arm up in gauze like he had a cast. So what she said in the card was the monkey says he fell off the people bars because the people fell off the monkey bars. So that was cute. And I might actually still have it in my closet, in my old bedroom, my parents' house. Might. I don't know. But anyway, I remember that. And I remember something else with it. The cast, and then I got that blue one. And I didn't let anybody sign that one either. But I remember, oh yeah, I remember that day. It was cloudy that day that I broke the arm. And later in the day, like I got home after that and I actually fell asleep for like an hour. Because like I said, I had had enough fun. And I got up and I went outside and I went down the walkway and the sun had come out. So I thought that was kind of nice. And for a while, I could tell the weather with my arm. I knew if it was going to rain. I could feel it. Not anymore. Not anymore. And in fact, I didn't have it as bad, you know, old people with the arthritis, you know, like the diabetes, the arthritis. So anyway, when they have that, so I used to have to actually hit my arm in the spot where it broke. Not really that smart, but that would make it sting a little bit, and then I would just could tell I was never wrong. I was never wrong, and I didn't look at the weather before then. We didn't have these fucking forecasts on your goddamn phone. Didn't exist then, okay? Didn't exist. And when they told the weather, they were right. Not like this bullshit that they have today. Anyways, so I remember all that. I just want to rack my brain for a second and see if there was anything else that I'm forgetting. In fact, yeah, my little paper fell here. Let me see if I had anything written down. I think that was about it. I really think that was about it. So, oh yeah, now I remember. Yes, last thing. So, okay, great. Now, I hated gym. Despised gym. So I broke my arm, and other kids, like I said, had broken arms and legs and shit like that, and they got to sit out from gym. So I was like, fucking awesome! I get out of gym for 6 weeks. Nope. Nope. Why not? Well, I did get out of gym in that they had these like mats on the side and they would just pile them up in the corner there. I'd sit on the mat and I'd have to watch what was going on in gym class. So my parents are like, can't my son like do his homework or something like that? No, he has to observe what is going on in class so he can learn. What? Really? Wouldn't let me do homework. There might have also been like a book report I had to do or some shit like that, because obviously I can't participate in gym under doctor's orders. So, you know, that was that. So, but they wouldn't let me do homework or anything. It just, I still had to suffer in gym. Didn't even win with that. Fuck me. Fuck my life. If you ever have the chance, don't break a bone. Just don't. Don't break anything. It's bad. Take it from Uncle Jay. I've been there. And I have a monkey to prove it. Or I did. Maybe. Anyway, that was the story. And all of this, like I said, was on top of 5th grade. And I hated the damn teacher. So it was just a shit year. A total shit year. And then I got very sick later in the year also. That's a story for another time. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Don't break any bones. And we'll see you next time. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. And we'll see you then. So take care. Bye-bye.